welcome back to my channel. I have missed you all. Today in this video I'm going to do something different. I'm going to walk through the step by step as to how I prepared for this year's Christmas dinner. So let's jump straight into the video. I start off by washing and cleaning the turkey and by cutting off the parsnip's nose. I think that's what it's called, and it's the tail end of the turkey. So I remove that and I make sure that all the feathers that are still left on the turkey are cut off and removed. All the innards. Luckily this is a based turkey, but I still have to remove some of the things on the inside. So that's what I'm doing now. Once I've done that, I go ahead and wash the turkey with lemon juice. You would have seen me do this in previous videos. It just helps to kill additional bacteria. I thoroughly clean the inside with lemon juice as well. I have a lot of help this Christmas. For those who don't know, I am expecting again. And because of that, I have a lot of help from my amazing in-laws, my mum and sister-in-law, who are helping me season the turkey. So at the moment, I've got garlic that I am currently just grating. The mix I'm doing is a mixture of green seasoning, rosemary, ginger, Maggi cubes, black pepper, a little bit of salt, some aroma stock seasoning. In fact, I will list the ingredients below because it's quite a bit. But this turned out absolutely amazing. So what I'm just doing here is stuffing the seasoning underneath the skin itself and rubbing it into the meat. And then I also do this on the underneath of the turkey and on the outside. And I slather it with an equal ratio of butter as well. That's what helps keep the meat really nice and moist. While the turkey is going to be in the fridge and marinate overnight, I am currently starting on the vegetarian dish because I do have a vegetarian guest. So with that being said, I am making a mushroom, spinach and walnut Wellington. And I have to be honest, this turned out absolutely delicious. You have to give this recipe a shot. I actually found the link to this recipe on TikTok, so I will try and find the link again and link it below for your reference. This was a really easy recipe. All it requires is onion, garlic, about a cupful of walnuts, or depending on your portion size, it will be more or less. I really like the addition of the walnuts in this recipe because it added a bit of bite to it, so it wasn't just mushroom. It was a nice texture, so I do recommend using walnuts. However, if you do have allergies or anything, you can always subsidize it to a seed nut of your choice. For example, almonds I think would work well, but it's completely up to you. So saute the onions until they're translucent. Add all the garlic that we had grated up. Here I have added the mushrooms and I've let it sweat out a bit so that it releases all its juices. I will then pour off the additional liquid and I've added in the grounded walnuts, the boiled spinach, which I pull apart with a fork, and just stir it until it's all evenly distributed. Then add just a little bit of different seasonings. This is a little bit of paprika. I add off camera a little bit of aroma as well. And lastly, I also add about a tablespoon of Philadelphia, which helps it to all stick together. And of course, because this is a new recipe, I had to do a taste test, and it was great. I also made sure my in-laws tasted it and they loved it. This dish was so good, and I'll definitely be making it again, not just for Christmas. Once the filling for the vegetarian Wellington is done, I set it aside and get started on the sweet potato stacks. So this is also another recipe I've seen on TikTok. I go ahead and use the mandolin, I think that's what it's called, to grate up all the sweet potatoes. And I add a mixture, just from eyeballing it, about 5 to 6 tablespoons of olive oil, a teaspoon of salt. I add in about a tablespoon of parsley, about a tablespoon of thyme and rosemary. In addition to that, black pepper, a bit of salt as well, and a little bit of garlic powder just to add to it as well. Again, your ratio of seasonings may change depending on how much sweet potatoes you do use. And once that's all done and poured in, I go ahead and mix it up and make sure that none of the slices are sticking together, so that all the seasonings go in between. And because this is the day before Christmas, I'm just going to go ahead and place this into a container so that I can keep it overnight, and then I'll go ahead and cook it all on Christmas Day. Off camera, I took the mushroom Wellington mix and made it into a sausage shape within cling foil so that it could hold its shape while I freeze it ahead of being put into the pastry tomorrow. And here I'm just seasoning the carrots. In the same bowl I did the sweet potatoes and add honey. It's Christmas Day and the tablescape is all done. I've gone ahead and used a Christmas wreath and added some acorns on the table. I've also done paper serviettes. I've done a TikTok on how I've done this and I'll link it below. Added some candles. I'm well impressed with the table layout. And of course, I've put post-it notes to showcase where I'm going to put some dishes. I go ahead and get started with the pastry for the vegetarian Wellington. Now, I'm not going to cut out the mistake I made in this one, but I put way too little flour on the counter when I was rolling it out, and it turned out to be a disaster. It stuck to the counter, so I had to just start over again with a new pastry, which you'll see in the upcoming footage. But yes, anyway, I'm rolling out the pastry just to make sure that I have enough space to work with when I do put in the mixture, the mushroom mixture for the Wellington. And you can see here that it just wasn't going to plan. I believe the kitchen just got too hot as well, which made the pastry really sticky. I don't know. But anyway, this is attempt number 2 with me using way more flour on the counter, and I'm glad to say it was a success. So I'm chopping off the excess pastry to make it that classic Wellington shape, and I will also use the remaining pastries on the side to do the crisscross on the top of it, that nice Wellington decoration. So I just use some egg white wash. I don't know what it's called, egg wash. I add a little bit of honey as well as per the recipe, and just fold it. I'm just folding it anyhow. I'm just putting the egg wash on anyhow. I'm not too delicate with it. It's all going to be eaten anyway, which it was. It ended up being delicious. but I just fold it like a parcel and just put more egg wash on the untouched parts of the pastry and just wrap it all over. I use a foil pan, making sure that it's being greased before I go ahead and put the pastry in. And then I go ahead and start doing the decorations on top by just cutting very thin slices and rolling it out again and cutting more slices. And that was pretty much it. It ended up being a lot easier than I thought. So definitely try this recipe out. It definitely has a thumbs up from me. I think I made another mistake here. Correct me in the comments if I'm doing it wrong, but I think I was meant to add egg wash before I added the decorations on top, because when I did take it out of the oven, it didn't look all even, the color of it. But anyway, let me know and I will do better next time. So I just pop it in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes until it was fully cooked. And of course, I've got to keep my eye on the turkey to make sure it's looking great and to make sure I baste it here and there every now and then. So I get started on the roasted potatoes by boiling them. I also add in just a little bit of seasoning, such as some salt. I add in some sprigs of thyme as well and some cloves of garlic, just to flavor it. And once the potatoes are fully boiled, that's when I go ahead and let it cool down once they're soft, so that I can shake them up and get them ready to become roast potatoes essentially. Here is the Wellington, and I'm well impressed with it. First time making it and it turned out great. Here my sister-in-law and I made some fried halloumi. We chopped up the halloumi, put it in the egg mix, into the breadcrumbs, and then fried it in oil, and they were just a delicious treat. And here's me getting started on the sweet potato stacks. So I just grease-proof the muffin tray, top up each section with sweet potatoes so that they're just slightly above the top of the tray, because they tend to shrink when cooked. And they turned out so nice. I would cook them for about 20 minutes or so and then cook it without the foil on top of it, uncovered, so that it can get slightly crispy. And it turned out great. It was really nice, really flavoursome. So again, I will link the TikTok video below. On the roast potatoes, I've shaken them in the colander, I think that's the word for it, to make them really fluffy, and put them into piping hot oil, as you can see. And that enables them to get a really good roast on it. So I put them in the oven, and I will link all the descriptions of the timings for it down below. Here is the pasta bake that my sister did. She also did mac and cheese. And you can see here that a touch I've done is add some rocket and sliced limes to the tablescape, because that is where the turkey is going to go. And you can see all the food behind as well. There was just so much food. Some on the table, some on the counter. It just looks really good. And this is it with the turkey on the plate. You got the roast potatoes done. You've got my mum-in-law's fried rice. You've got the gravy. you've got the wine as well, you've got the honey carrots being put down. There's just so much going on. And the food behind as well, we've got mac and cheese, we've got pasta bake, you've also got rice and peas and lamb as well, stuffing, Wellington, you name it, we've got it. Yorkshire puddings, I'm trying to remember everything. These are all the desserts my family brought, and all the drinks and wine. We just had a fab time, and I absolutely love this Christmas. There is just a lot of food, and of course we give thanks to God for allowing us to have such an amazing meal with family and friends with us. And if you really enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing home content. I do plan to do a lot more this year, so stay tuned, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks so much for watching.